Welcome, this is where nerds come to learn things. If it's your first time here, click on the subscribe button and on the bell icon to get notifications about new videos. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoy it. Alright, so this is a logic board from a Macbook Pro 17-inch, early 2011, and it's got some liquid damage on it. And the purpose of this is to try and repair it. See, there's some just here, you can see on the screen. There's a few areas which are pretty bad. There's a few which are not so bad but still ugly, like there. So the logic, the LVDS connector is pretty bad just there. The cable itself looked passable, had a little bit of corrosion on one of the pins, but I'll probably clean it up. But the board's got various spots, like there's another one just there which is a bit corroded. So I'm hoping it's recoverable. And on the connector there too, those legs, and this connector at the bottom, just here, if I point to it, that's also got some corrosion on it as well. It's actually inside it. I noticed it on the flex when I pulled it out. So there's lots of spots which need sorting out in that area there as well. Right, so there's a lot to do. The other side of the board looked okay. There was a little bit just over here. There's a bit just there before, which was a bit dodgy. I went over it with a toothbrush just to give it a little bit of brush up, and it seemed okay actually. It wasn't too bad, but I might have chucked some flux on that too. But most of the board looks alright. Yeah, so I'm going to chuck flux on stuff and chuck some hot air in it and see if it fixes anything up. The main thing with the flux is it gets rid of the corrosion, or helps to kill the corrosion. So it's also going to make the board quite messy in the process, but that's okay. I can clean it off later. And there are some little bits of dirt floating around which may look like something else. Let's get a thing to scrape with. Just there, like a bit of, see that? Probably some dead bug or something, I don't know. Little bits like that floating around, so don't be too disturbed. These could probably use cleaning up too actually, just over here. Some of the problem is trying to find the parts on the screen versus where they are on the board. I'm trying to cover the whole board, but it's looking that way a little bit. Now I think where these parts are which are unpopulated, like here, I'm not so sure about those pads being important or not. I don't think they will be, but you never quite know. But there's also some of these quite dark pads like this in these areas which I want to probably scrape up a bit. So all of it looks okay, it's just bits and pieces. Being along the edge of the board, they're likely to suffer more. Yeah, there's a bit of corrosion there. So I've actually been on AliExpress buying parts. See what I can find, like little connectors, like the LVDS connectors and stuff like that, and cable, various sizes of computer kind of thing. But I've actually got another 17-inch which is actually worse than this one, a lot worse. So I thought I'd try the easy one first and see how we end up with that. Although focusing on this is brilliant, this is why I bought it. So there's a traditional trinocular. So there's lots of little bits to try and fix up, but most of it just seems to be really minor. Obviously I just need to try and stop it getting worse. Well, this will do for the first pass at least. There's bound to be more I need to do. Alright, let's get this hot air going and see what kind of mess I can make. Probably gonna need some more heat. I've got to set at 350, so that's probably a bit low. Probably a bit less air, don't be blowing components off the board. What I'm doing is left-handed, so you can see. What do you reckon? That'll probably be good enough. Don't want to melt the thing off. I think I might need some more heat. I'm not sure this is hot enough. That looks better. That's a 450. Yeah, it's looking more effective. Right. Actually, yeah, there's lots of little bits here I've missed. There's little pads with wires. Lots of them. Let's just do this. Don't get it a bit too hot, just want to activate the flux, don't melt the connector. So what I'm really trying to do here is activate the flux and get the flux to do its job. That's pretty much it. I'm not actually trying to melt things off the board. I'm just trying to clean it, basically. Bug there, isn't it? It moved, yes. Should be plenty of that. Again, trying to avoid getting the connector hot. It's doing very localised. Right. I think we've got it all. Well, hopefully it helps to fix some of the corrosion. It's going to be almost like I have to do the whole ball, isn't it, really? Alright, well I think that'll do for now. Alright, let's clean this board up, trying to get the mess off it. Just cover it in IPA, try and scrub off the flux, or at least loosen the flux off, and then I'll try and flush it off. Just scrubbing all the areas that I know were really bad as far as corrosion. But it's looking a lot better now. So we'll re-inspect it again after I finish cleaning it. But yeah, I wish I had an ultrasonic cleaner, that would be easier. Right, so give it a clean up. It's not great, it's still got some flux around here. I need to get an ultrasonic cleaner. That'll be next in my purchase list, I think. And I'll get the light on it right, you can probably see the flux residue around the Sonos devices still. It's not washed off yet, but it's not bad. So let's just look for the corroded areas. So this is one of them here. So I want to see how bad this is now. So it's certainly looking a lot better. Hopefully I've not any parts off, I'll be trying to clean it. So there's no obvious signs of shorting pins or anything now. Before there's corrosion across the pins, so it would have been shorting it out. This is another one just particularly bad. That's looking alright. You can see a little bit on the side of that chip still. I think it's probably okay though. And another bad area was over here. Where was it? Over here. Get there. Focus. So there's another bad area right here. So I haven't actually tried to do any repairs so far, just a matter of cleaning it. So those pins there are looking a bit dodgy actually. Yeah, probably right. Probably right. It mostly seemed to be very slight surface corrosion. It didn't seem to be too severe. It was just a mess. So, right, let's plug a fan into it, because we're going to need that. And we'll put some power onto it and see if we've made any progress or not. Now, if I do get this thing booting up and working, then I'll, before I actually reassemble the unit and get it running properly, I will actually take those heat sinks off, those heat pipes that are on the back, all that, and replace all the heatsink compound and stuff like that. Refresh all that, because obviously I've been flushing it out, so it's probably not great. Alright, so this thing here is the DC in connector. Let's get this on here. Alright, I've already had a look at this, it looks kind of okay. I couldn't really see any corrosion on this, looks alright. So I don't think this was affected at all. Looks like it missed it. Just plug this in. So what we need to just check for is basically lights on the charger and for the fan starting to spin. Good old Lewis. Fan spin. Right, charger cable. Get the front, be good. We have fan spin. Wow, that might already be fixed then. Wasn't doing that before. Right, so I'm just going to clean these connectors up because a couple of these connectors had some problems. So it's just a very slight little bit of surface corrosion on here. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I want to see you wiggle it. Just a little bit as it grows.
So I'm just going to give that a polish up with this fiberglass brush. Just remove that. Just to make sure it's all good. These other ones all seemed okay. I haven't looked at these ones yet. Looks okay. That's got a little bit on there. Gotta be careful not to flex these too much, otherwise they'll break. Now the one I did notice mostly was this LVDS. Now I've ordered some more. I'll get the thing in a shot. All I can see it's got some dark sections on there. A couple of pins. It's a little bit dark, it's not too bad. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean with this. View's not the best for the camera. Just a gentle bit of abrasion on those just to get that corrosion off. A little bit of tarnishing on there. I think it's not too bad. Right. Right. One of the other computers, which I have ordered parts for, that connector's actually got, I think, 2 or 3 pins missing off the end. They're actually gone. They're stuck inside the connector. So I've ordered parts for that too. Right. Let's shove this thing back together and see if it will actually power up properly or anything. It's going to be interesting. Now it's got this little flex here as well. So we'll try and feed through, and it's just for testing only. I'm not actually going to build it completely back up from this. I just want to see if it's going to work. I think here's some not trap all the connections underneath the board. When I got this ribbon cable for the CD drive, I'll try and capture. There, it's like this. It's underneath the board when I got it. So someone had the board out before I received it. So, not surprising, but there's another ribbon under there somewhere. Where's that gone? So many little ribbons all over the place, it's really fiddly. That's just keyboard backline, so it doesn't matter. Don't need to hook it up, just need to make sure it's not touching anything underneath. Okay. So, most of it I probably don't need. Most of these I can probably leave off. I'll just plug the screen in and see if the screen comes up. I think that's going to be all I really need to do. Just get a screw so the ball doesn't flop around. And put that power jack back in again. Find the screws for that. So these LVDS connectors are really rather fragile devices. Let's put the top on this before I stab myself with it. They're very fragile, so I'm trying to get the things in and out without damaging them. Interesting. Right, is that all I need to make the thing work? RAM. Might need speakers too, so I can hear it. I think they're speakers. Now I'll just plug these things in too. It's easy enough to do. Put that in. I'll leave that one out. That's tucked behind there anyway. Yeah, it's alright. Battery. I'll leave that off for now. That's just hard drive, I don't need that on. This is popped behind there, of course. Put it out. That's just for the battery lights. Actually, we'll plug the battery in because I want to see if it tries to charge. Alright, let's plug this in. See what happens. Nothing this time. Oh, come on, you saw it work before. Seriously? Nope. Something's killing it. What's killing it? It might be that. See? No green light. Oh, come on. Let's unplug that again. Hold on, let's take the RAM back out. You saw it power up, you saw it spin. Everything else is unplugged, isn't it? Yeah, that's everything off. Interesting. Now it's going. Might be bad RAM then. There you go, there's a beep for RAM. Okay. That looks promising. So most likely the RAM might be damaged. Let's plug this back in again. Plug the battery back in. Do we get an orange light? It might not do because the battery is fully charged. Okay. I don't know if the screen will come on that RAM in it. May not. That's running off the battery, so that part's working. Okay. Right, well we've got some progress. Now I need to sort the RAM out. I have another machine here which has RAM. Right here, one I prepared earlier. Now I'll get the screws out of this. I'll take the RAM out of this one. Okay, more RAM. Make sure these look okay as well. Machines are identical, so they should be compatible. But it has also been fully damaged. But it doesn't seem to have got onto the RAM. Right, let's try again. Nothing. Right, there we go. Right. Yep. Okay, get it on the microscope. There you go. Fan spinning. Green light on. It's got a bong. Doing well so far. We have a screen. What comes up on the screen? That's the question. Does it have a folder icon? Yep, folder icon. Excellent. We're getting there. It boots up. Means it can't be too bad. I reckon I should put the rest of this back together. At least for finalising the testing on it. So I'm hoping that just giving it, removing all the corrosion has fixed all the problems on it. I mean, it seems to boot up now. No, I wasn't getting anything like that before. Yeah, the other MacBook I've got, I have to make sure I keep an eye on that, is the, I'll show you in a minute actually, the other 17-inch, which I pulled this RAM out of. It's much worse than this one was. So my hopes of getting that one going actually not very good, but you never know, might get lucky. Don't think I've missed anything, just that keyboard, that's all there, done. That's everything plugged in. Right, see if it still boots up. If it does, I'll drop a casing on it and flip it over. And we've got nothing. Something's still wrong. Something has a problem. Let's figure out which piece it is. So let's take off the Wi-Fi. Not that. Let's take off the CD. Not that. Okay, let's take off the keyboard backlighting, although it shouldn't be on anyway, I don't think so, it probably doesn't matter. Could be keyboard itself. No, still nothing. Let's pop that out. Maybe I should have done it the other way around, actually added things in and checked it. Oh, come on. Well, I'm running out of things to eliminate. Take that off. Whatever that bit does. That one. Okay, just that one there, whatever that is. Okay. What does that do? Goes down to this module here. I'm not quite sure what that does. Oh, is that SD card? It's a module there which has failed. Okay. Right. Let's get back the other way. That's fine. Process elimination is always fun. So that's everything else tied back in apart from that one thing. Right. Let's try again. Yep, that's powering up. Excellent. Let's put a case on this so I can flip it over. Cool, it's trying to boot. Trying to boot, but there's no screen yet. It was there. Oh, I'm missing something else. Maybe there's another problem. Put that back out. I don't need the keyboard drive. Let's take that out. Let's try again. I think when I put that cover on, it pushed the battery in. I didn't want to actually have the right on battery. Not yet. See, this fan's being sluggish, see that? Seemed okay that time. Have a screen again. Okay, let's put the bottom cover back on. It's being a bit strange. Only because I want to set the thing up the right way. Okay. Right, so it's got to the icon. So let's get the boot drive going. And we'll reboot it. And we'll run a hardware test and see if it actually works. See if the drives, if the USB will work or anything. It may find it automatically by itself. I might have to reboot it. Well, it's booting off something. Yeah, it's the wrong one. Okay, do we have trackpad or mouse? Yes, we have trackpad. It's not working very well, but it's working. Seems very slow. Also, got some kind of sensor issue, I think. You want that one there. Well, that seems to sped up now. We'll see. We'll see if we boot up fully, then we'll do some tests. Whilst you're waiting, I'll show you this other one. So this is the other one I've got, which is much worse condition, and it's got lots of corrosion, same kind of spaces. I don't know if it's going to focus. There you go. Alright, so this one's actually far worse. So I thought I'd try doing the easy one first. This would be another little project. Come on, boot, boot. You can do it. I think it's going slow. It's probably got some sensor issues, which is what the software is supposed to find anyway. There's two versions of booting. This is an OS boot, which is also what I'm doing now. There's also an EFI boot, which goes into the back end firmware and boots up without an operating system. So yeah, it's a bit different. I haven't tried the EFI one yet. Alright, so I'm just booted it up with a hard drive doing an EFI test, which is the 3G144, or sorry, 3S144. We'll see if it actually finds anything is ready to go. It's searching for hardware to run tests apparently. So I think it's still got some issues with the logic board, but obviously it's got to the point where you can actually turn the thing on and use it. But the graphics processor got very hot when I tried to start with an OS. So I don't think it's got any damage, but I think it's a concern. So I just want this thing to actually be able to run tests and figure out, tell me what's going on with it. I want to find out what sensors are faulty, because I think sensors are faulty, something's wrong with it, which is what's holding it all up. So this needs to load up so I can then do that. But yeah, at least I've actually got it to this point. Okay, some progress. It's got this far. Right, so what do we do now? Start testing passed. Let's test everything and we'll see how we go. Yeah, let's just test everything. Let's see what fails. So that's memory test 62. Very thorough. I'm checking the memory. I was supposed to check the rest of the computer out. It's taking ages, but it's coming along. It's probably about 90% there. Well, we're still going. We're up to memory test number 65. It's now been an hour and 8 minutes, but it's plodding along. It's doing okay. So the test just finished. It took an hour and 30 minutes and 9 seconds, and it passed. So it didn't find any problems with the logic board or any of the components connected to it. So that's a bonus. That's good. One thing I did want to say, if you look at the window design, I don't know where you can see it in the camera unfortunately, but this is very reminiscent of the old Mac OS, is it 7 I think it was. Might have been 6, late 6, but certainly 7. Maybe 8. Oh, not sure. Don't remember too well, but I recognise this design as being from that OS, so it's a bit reminiscent really of you know, of what used to be, and I think that's pretty cool actually. And in fact it just boots straight up into this really quickly as well. You know, incredible. But anyway, obviously it's not got any overhead from anything else, but the test passed, so it's a winner. And now I need to try and get the thing to actually run an operating system, so I need to put I've got an SSD I'm going to put in there. I've got a 480GB SSD which I'm going to put in, because this is going to be my own computer. I want to keep this one. Alright, it seems to be in good condition apart from the fact it had a little bit of liquid damage, so long as it's going to work, it's all good. So I'm going to put the SSD in, that at least confirm that the flex cable for the hard drive works as well, and then I've got to try and get an operating system to boot up on a flash drive or something and then install. So that's going to be a little bit tricky, but we'll get there. Okay, so I thought I'd just give the board another quick once over whilst I was once I had it out of the unit, because I put these thermal pads on the heatsink, on those heat pipes there, just to help the thermal dissipation, to help that, because it has a known problem with heat build up from and blowing the GPs up. It's a design flaw. Anyway, so I was going over the board and just having a bit of a clean up again, just checking for any other little joints and stuff I may have missed. I found a couple of bits. Is that another one there? A little bit dirty just in there. Let's get a bit of a clean there. About there. Alright, so generally it's not too bad. This is a few little bits and pieces. Just giving it a quick brush over, see if I've got any problems. You can see a bit of flux build up still on the board there. It's not quite come off, which means I definitely need to get an ultrasonic cleaner, because even washing it with IPA hasn't really done the job. So I've just been basically just going over and checking it out and make sure I haven't missed any bits, and I found a couple of bad wires which I've just touched up. It didn't appear to be causing a problem, but you know, who knows? It's worth a shot. So all done. I've replaced the thermal compound as well on the heat pipes, because yeah, these pipes, the thermal compound was quite dry and crusty. I mean, here it is here. Yeah. Alright, it's just like, come on, focus, like lumps of it. That's what came off. So definitely due for renewal as well. But yeah, so I can put it back together now and see if I can get a system installed on it. Although I've still got one thing left to do, and that's that, what's it called? It's an express card, is it? Express card port, which is shorted out. I'm going to pull that out and have a look and see if I can fix that first. Okay, so this is the actual express card thing, which is what was, well, one of the things shorting out, a bad RAM and this thing here. And it's basically just a connector, so there's not a lot to it. It's got this flex that comes around here. Yeah, I'm just looking on the back there, can't actually see any problems with it. Very interesting. Here you go. Can't see anything there. No signs of corrosion or anything. That looks absolutely fine. Not quite sure the stories of that bit, but flex. Also looks fine, at least that side does. Backside, yeah. Backside of flex. No sign of anything on there. Good electrical connector. Oh, there we go. Look, down the side there. See that? There's some corrosion down there on those pins. It's probably, that could be what it is. Just inside there in the back of that casing. So if I can get that off this board, I'm not sure if I can or not. Might be able to get to those pins and give them a clean. I think it hooks in. Because there's not much to it, then I can just check for shorts across the pins and make sure there's nothing dodgy there. Can't unhook it. It seems like it clips in. Might be able to pop it out. Without breaking, I don't want to break it in the process. That's that side out. That's that side out. Come on, here we go. So there's the top of connector. And yeah, there's corrosion inside here. Let's try and get it in shot. In there. That could be what's causing it. That could be enough to make it die. So it's just shove some liquid flux in there. Just a little bit there, and I'll just heat it up a little bit, try and stop that corrosion. This stuff's a bit easier to clean out than the other stuff. So I'll just do that on there. I'll heat it up, and then I'll give it a flush out with IPA and a bit of a scrub, and we'll see if we get the thing to come right. I'm going to put a little bit of heat in there. Just not try and activate the flux, I don't want to melt it. IPA, chuck some of that in there. Scrub the brush. That's looking a lot better. There's no pins on the bottom, it's only on the top side. The back looks okay. I'll give it a bit of a go anyway, just in case there's something sitting in between the pin which I haven't seen. Right, let's do some voltage measurements, well, continuity measurements, and see if I can detect a short or any kind of low resistance which is going to cause a problem. Let's go between pins and it should tell me if something's wrong. If this works okay, then I'll put it back in again and see if it comes right. Is it right? Yep. Always double check. There may be some pins which have a continuity there because there might be like a shared ground connection or something like that. Here we go, smack bang in the middle. But there shouldn't be too many of them. I don't know if there's a pin out mentioned for this. So that is basically a dead short there. So I would have thought that there'd be some pins that are shared between like negative common and positive common. I would have expected there to be a couple, so it's not too surprising, but at least there's not like loads of them shorted out together. So let's just check those ones there again. There are two in the middle, aren't they? Those two right there. That's a solid short, so it's probably a proper connection rather than just a leakage. And the other one was over here somewhere, wasn't it? Too far, is it? Here we go, those two. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I think that is just meant to be like that. Can I see down the back to see if I can see a link on here? There's a link there. Yep, link there. You can see it on the flex. There you go. There and there are linked together, so that's supposed to be like that. So that's all fine, I think. No problem. I reckon I can put that back in. Right, so I've got all the cables hooked up apart from the battery because I don't want that to power it up yet. So I've plugged in the cable from that express card thing, which before was killing the unit. Let's try it out. Yep, cool. Fixed. So that card's alright now. I should hear it try and boot. Should hear it chime. Might take a minute. Yep, cool. Here we go. And hopefully we've got a screen. Yep, we've got a screen. So, all looking good. So, I fixed that problem. Now I want to check this RAM out again as well. Now this is the RAM that was in it which was giving a fault. I'm going to take that RAM back out and put this stuff back in again. I've gone through and checked it out, given it a bit of a brush up to try and clean off any maybe with some residue on the pins or something like that. they look fine. I can't see anything physically wrong with them. So we'll give it a go. We'll drop these in and see if it will boot again with that other RAM in there. So well, I'm going to just try both first and see what happens. If it works, I know it's alright. But if it doesn't, I'll take one out. Right, try again. You have a green light. You have a boot. So may have been some rubbish on the RAM DIMMs. Excellent. So the RAM must be okay after all. I'll make for a tone to make sure it's actually doing a boot sound. Yeah, all good. So it must have been some residue on those on the contact points where it's plugged in. So excellent. It's getting better and better. Alright, so I've got just about all of this thing working, but when it's booting up, it gets through about 3/4 of the way through the boot up process, and then it goes to white screen and then reboots and starts all over again. Now what that is when it's switching over to its dedicated graphics chip, which is this thing here, which is known for it being an issue. What's also known on these things is that there's a 10 capacitor in here which can fail and cause a low voltage on the GPU, which causes this same symptom. So I thought I'd check that voltage. Now I've managed to find that this test point right there, that pad, right there is the voltage on that capacitor. The capacitor's on the other side of the board, which means I'll take the board back out again if I need to replace it. So I thought I'll test that voltage there and we'll see what happens. I've already gone through and reflowed again all around the, I'll show you, all around here, right? Because this chip here, that's an ISL 623 something, out on there, 36 is it? I think it is. Yeah, 36, ISL 6236. This is for the graphics chip, right? This is the voltage driver circuitry here, or some of it. Okay, so that's quite an important chip. So I've gone through, although I've already done all this earlier on today, I didn't actually melt any solder, I just cleaned the corrosion off, and this particular part was really badly corroded. So I've gone through here with flux and actually resoldered every single joint in this area on that chip, all those parts around it, support components. This neighbouring chip here, even though I haven't actually looked at what it does, I just did that area because I was in there, and I've reflowed everything in this area. Okay, so that's all got fresh solder on it, and is now good, right? My soldering iron tip is just small enough to do it, which is fine. So I know that's not going to be, well, it shouldn't be a problem now. So now I need to come up here and look at that cable's unplugged because I had the hot air going there to initially melt the flux and warm the board up. I didn't want to melt it. So I've got a test on that pad there and I plug the power in. I've disconnected the battery because I just wanted to power up and I plug the cable in. Alright, so let's get onto that test point. Go here so I don't make the camera refocus. Alright, so I'm on the test point. Just there. So there's no cutting no voltage. Let's plug this in. I'm supposed to get 1.5 volts. What do we get? 1 volt. That's a bit low. So, okay. I'm on the right path there then. Okay, that capacitor's on the other side of the board, of course, but there is a test point on this side, so I can access that. This is booted up. Doesn't matter, it's not booting anyway. Let's plug this into here. That is there. Okay, that's. I think it's that test point. Let's find out. If it says 1 volt, I mean, you're right. There we go. That's 1 volt there. So that one's okay. Should probably plug this fan back in again, actually. Don't want it getting hot, because it is crashing halfway through booting up. Okay, so it looks like that power supply has a problem, but only on the supply going to the GPU. Now there is another supply here, I think. Yeah, good buck converter. So suspicion then is that C9560 is bad, because that's what tends to go wrong on these things. Or one of the other associated capacitors across that section, but the voltage is too low, so I think that's probably what the problem is. So I'll take this board back out again, which is a real pain. It's about the third time I've done it. But, no, well. Okay, so the belief is that this capacitor just here is the cause of most of these problems. Alright, that tantalum right there. So I can actually test that. So apparently what can happen is if you heat it up, it will come right. So what I need to do is get the DCN board and hook it up, power it up, heat that up and see if it comes right. Right, so I've put some hot air onto it. Let's get ready to test. Need a ground, that'll do for that. Power. 1.5 volts. Hey, the symptom matches. Let's drop some IPA on it just to cool it down, and we'll see if it changes. But it seems to have already done that. Now I'm getting 0. There's already a lot of heat coming out of that. So I think that cap is probably the problem. I mean, the voltage has changed. Don't leave it running too long because there's a lot of heat coming out of this thing. With only one fan running. So yeah, I think that cap needs to come out. Well, I got it off. Took quite a bit of effort though. It was not easy to get off. Put some clean solder on there. Get the old lead-free stuff off. But yeah, it was certainly a bit of a challenge getting that off there. A lot of ground plane in that area. Right, so I'm going to put the new capacitors onto the board here, or the new capacitor. So I'll just stick that on there in the correct orientation. That's also a good point. I should check that, try that around. It was because I don't remember. Ground point. One of those is ground. I thought it was ground. There we go, over there. Yeah, so this side there is the ground. So these are 220 UF 4 volt tantalum capacitors, and these are tiny. Yeah, try and the camera focus on them, but you can see they're pretty small. There's a banded end. So I was going to put one of those in there. This is an attempt to potentially fix a graphics problem. I'm not sure if it's got a graphics problem or not. I think it does. I've never got that far. I didn't actually get a system installed or anything on the disk, so I need to actually look at doing that next and getting it booted into a system. I did have some issues with my OS X installer disks. What it turns out to be is a permissions error, because I was having the same problem with every computer apart from the one I made the disk on. And what it is that when you make the disks partitions or whatever, however you set it up on the installer disk or USB boot drive, whatever you're going to do, if you go into the get info for that disk on the Mac and make sure that the users that are listed, well, for starting check ignore permissions or something for this device, and it's got this little checkbox right in the bottom left corner, tick that first, and then in the permissions for the users, make sure you click the lock icon and stuff so you can change it, and with the unlock icon, and then you make sure everyone is set to read and write, not just read, and that fixes it. Anyway, I've got to try this one yet, but I was suspecting the cap was bad, so I was going to replace it. I mean, I've taken it off already, and here is the original one right here, and there's a new one which is actually smaller, even though it's high voltage. So that was a 2.5 volt cap, this is a 4 volt cap. So I've got the hot air going, I've got my soldering iron running as well. This bit here is really huge ground planing, so it's actually really hard to desolder. I actually might take that screw there out, that will help a little bit. Detach the heatsink from that bit. This is the potty washer done last time I was taking that part off, because it was really hard to get it off. So that should be a little bit less heat sinking, trying to suck the heat away from that bit of the board. Yeah, but I'm going to leave it on the rest to keep those devices cooler. Don't overheat the GPU or the CPU. So I'm going to use hot air and maybe a soldering iron as well. I will see how it go. I'll use a soldering iron, I'm not sure, but anyway, let's get one of these devices out. That has to go on there, only the right way around, and not upside down. These aren't the best tweezers, so it's possible this is going to be a problem with these, but I don't want to get flux out of my good tweezers. Right, so that's where it's got to sit, is right there, only straight. So let's get some flux on here. It's already had a lot of flux on there the other day when I was trying to get the thing off, so it's fairly clean, corrosion free anyway. I'm going to hot the air down, so it's going to be a bit noisy, I'm afraid. I've got this set to 450, 70% airflow. So this needs a lot of heat. And I'll try the iron as well. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's falling off the board. So I want to get as much heat into this bit of the board as I can. It's working quite nicely actually. Alright. Let's get that part back out under here, but it fell. Go back. Might have to use better squeezers. Go on, out. Well, it's on. What about if it's on well? I'll finish it off with the iron. Get some fresh solder. That's better. Cool, that was good. Now let's clean it up. I think taking that screw out helps quite a bit actually. Last time I really struggled to get out the part off. Just sucked all the heat away. So I really need to invest in ultrasonic cleaner, I think I'm going to have to. Because doing this kind of thing with a toothbrush and a bit of cloth to try and get the stuff back off, it's not really the best. It works, sure, but it's not really the best. Now I'll put the thing back in the computer and see if it actually works or not. I really hope it does. Okay, here's the casing for this board. So let's drop it in. I have to make sure nothing's unplugged on the bottom. I believe this didn't have any faults. I know one of these had bad cables. So this is a, you probably won't be able to see it, A1297A. Alright, so, right, screws. Where did I put them? That's a good question. It's always when you get the last screw in, and the last thing is when you realise, oh, I missed something. That's what happens every time. So if something's going to go wrong, it's at that moment. So then you realise, oh no, I missed a bit. Well, it's just the way it works, isn't it? It looks like I don't have any spare bits. It's always great. Nothing left over. Did one yesterday in a country machine it was now, it was one of these other ones I was playing around with, and got right to the end, put in the very last screw, and realised I'd missed something. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, there's a connector underneath, that's what it was. There's a connector underneath for speaker or something, I think it was. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, there was. I'd missed something, I'd take the whole thing back out again. So. Okay, that's all in. I'll put the LVDS back in. It's also very fragile, I have to be very careful with this. And latch it. Put the battery in. Up the right way. Then we'll power it up and see what happens. And I'll chuck in my I might just try booting it first, see what happens. Then I might chuck in the boot. But I might put in a boot disk. Okay, so we've got a green light. Zoom out a bit. Got a green light over here. Now I've got an orange, so it's charging the battery. Starting to boot. It's trying to boot, you can hear the thing winding. Got a dong, we've got a screen. Now what's going to happen? It has a drive in there. It's the one I put in. Did I install it? I can't remember. Did I get as far as installing a drive? I don't remember actually. I know there's a disk in there. SSD. I'll try and what point I got to in this now. The fact it's not booting means it's probably not actually going. Yeah, it's not system on it. That's right, now I remember. Now I remember. I was trying to install a system but I couldn't do it. Because I was having boot problems with my flash drive. That's okay. Pop that in. Okay, it's now booting off the flash drive. That'll take a while, so I'll come back. So, it might be unlucky with this one. It just went to white screen, which means it probably wasn't the capacitor. It was a long shot anyway. The capacitor was not highly likely, but it's a small possibility. So I thought I'd eliminate it, you know, a $2 part or whatever it was. It was worth putting it in to give it a shot, you know. The fact it's gone to a white screen throughout the boot process means it's probably got a stuffed GPU. So, yeah, well, I'll do some more testing on the ASD discs, and we'll see if I can get the thing to go from that. But yeah, I think it's likely to have a stuffed GPU, which is a shame because this is the computer I really want to use. Yeah, oh well. Well, I'm going to try booting up in the ASD OS version. We'll see what happens, if it will actually boot or not. It might do the same thing. EFI booted up, but the EFI doesn't use the GPU processor. It uses the integrated graphics. And this one's done the same thing as the installer, which means the GPU's for it. Damn. That's kind of disappointing. Fans are ramping up. Nice as last time too. It got very hot and the fans ramped up. I think the GPU shorted out internally. I think it's failed. Such a shame. Such a shame. Well, I'm going to have to think about what I do with this one then, because the GPU doesn't work. I don't know what options we've got now. So, from looking at this thing, I believe the GPU itself is fried. So, the fact that it gets really hot as well when it's trying to use that GPU, the heat increases a lot and the fans ramp up and stuff. So I think there must be an internal short or something on that GPU, or liquid damage has got behind that GPU. I am going to, fingers crossed, this will be a first, I'm going to take that GPU off, clean it, put it back on. I don't have stencils, I don't have the right gear, I certainly don't have a GPU machine, so, and I'm not exactly experienced with desoldering and soldering BGA items, so this could be the end of this particular logic board. But as the GPUs don't work anyway, it's not really worth worrying about. But it's a shame because it's a really nice computer, otherwise it's just that GPU doesn't appear to be working. So I'm going to take that off, take the board out, we'll give it a go, but I'm really nervous about this. So there we go, there's the GPU exposed. I've cleaned the heatsink compound off. What I might actually do as well is try and find some replacement GPUs, some brand new ones, because if this doesn't work I'm going to need them anyway, and there's a good chance I'm going to come across this problem on other models as well, other laptops I get. I'm bound to find other ones with GPU issues, so I think I might just try and buy some GPUs and try and get like the latest version possible or something, to the best quality, hopefully. All the bug fixes in them. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting experience. Now I'm going to reflow this thing. I'm going to heat it up a bit. Going to warm up the board from the back as well. Get that all try and get the whole board nice and warm in the area, and remove this underfill. But what I've done, I've cut through here with a knife to try and keep that edge and those little corners just there. So when I take that off, I've got something to line it back up to when I put it back on, because that's part of this problem is actually getting the thing back in the right place. I don't have any GPU balls. I can't reball it. I don't have stencils. Not that size. I've ordered some, then it's not here yet. But I'll give it a go. You know, I'll just, if I can get it off cleanly and the solder's on both sides, I might be able to refit it as it is with a bit of flux on there. If I clean it up without taking the original solder off, because as long as I don't drag it or shift solder from one board to the next, it should be okay. Maybe, but it doesn't work. I've got nothing to lose. So right here is a 17-inch MacBook Pro 2011. Now these are renowned for having GPU issues. All the 2011 units, apart from the 13-inch, it's not affected. But the 15-inch and the 17-inch have bad GPUs. Right? It's a known fact. Now I've been supplied this CMI Zapper. I think it's Thai Serious. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but this is for the 17-inch model. It's basically a BIOS hack right there. Okay, now I've also got one here for the 15-inch. Apparently the only real difference is the actual board design where it fits around the BIOS. So you can see from this picture here, it fits around the BIOS, which is right there. There's the BIOS chip, and this is the board that goes around it. And there's a fan connector and the flex goes up there like that. Okay, which is right here. Okay, that's the BIOS chip right there. We call it BIOS, but it's the SPI ROM, if you want to call it the technical name for Apple stuff. SPI ROM is what it really is. Alright, and so I've been given these for free, so I'm going to see how it works. Now this particular one, I've already taken the GPU out. I did buy some new GPUs. I haven't got around, well, new GPUs. Obviously used pull ones, but who knows what you're going to get. So I've already taken the GPU off this with the intention of replacing it. Never done it before, so I'm kind of nervous about it. So, no, I've got this thing. So I thought, well, I'll put this on first, because it's supposed to basically bypass the original GPU and just use the integrated graphics. I know the GPU's off, the back of the boards will be cleaned. This is a liquid damage machine, which I've already fixed the liquid damage on, which I believe I have. And the only issue I had left was a blown GPU. That's why I took that off, because it was definitely fried. So I'm going to put this on here, and we'll see what happens. I mean, you'll see if it works without a GPU. The guy that sent it to me reckoned it probably would, so we'll give it a go. Right, obviously I've got no RAM in it either right now, but that's not a big deal. So yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. So the first thing I'll do is lift this resistor off, which is right here. That one right there, to be on. So let's just get some fresh solder on here. And I should really be doing this out of the chassis. It's not good to be doing it in chassis like this. Alright, let's just let's try and get it so it's not blowing too much, but using high temperature. I'm afraid this is probably going to be in your way as well, isn't it? So he's being stubborn. Come on, come on. Okay, so that should definitely be the GPU disabled regardless. I mean, the fact that I haven't got a GPU on the board either should mean it's off anyway. So now I need to install this part. This has got a little controller on it, little chip. 18F25K40, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. It's probably some little microcontroller or something, I don't know. But it's got a PWM input, so I'm guessing it is a microcontroller of some kind. And all we've really got to do is put it just like so, and then solder that down. So I will actually just hand solder that. So you can see it fits around the components that are already on the board, so it just sits down here. So there's actually in a space, you've got a couple of parts on already fit, but I suppose you can't fix everything, can you? But it's basically going around all the parts around it. So I'm just going to solder individual legs. Let's see if it goes. I've got my power cable here. Power supply is turned on. I put some RAM in. We have fan spin. So it stops. Should restart again. Restarts again. CD drive spinning up. We have a bong. We have a display. So we get in there. Just have to wait for see if the hard disk icon pops up. I haven't got a drive in it, so we give a unfound, non-found system error. Could be that little folder icon that pops up. I'll chuck a system in it. I'll chuck a boot drive in actually. Let's chuck a boot drive in. Okay, it's booting off 10.12. Let's have a look and see what happens. Of course it's going to be upside down for you, sorry about that. But, being a flash drive, it's going to be a bit slow to boot, but yeah. As long as it boots up, then we know it's good. Don't forget this doesn't have a GPU in it. GPU is removed. In fact, here is the GPU that was in it. Right, there it is. I had it sit on my desk still. Even I pulled this thing apart months ago. I was part of parts of my desk. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention too in that video when I was doing soldering and stuff, I had pulled the battery out, unplugged the battery. Always make sure you unplug the battery. I made that mistake once before and destroyed the board. In fact, here it is over here. It's a bit blown. One day I'll get back to it. I reckon I can rescue it at the time. I should have got my SSD hard drive out. That boots a lot faster than the flash drive. So the problem with 2011s as well as the it's only USB 2, it doesn't have USB 3 ports. So that does tend to be a bit slower anyway. It'll get there, just takes time. I don't want to stop recording in case it suddenly goes. Just like move, it's still going. It's just slow. I'm getting really tempted to go and get the SSD hard drive. It'll still be faster than this. But of course, when I step away, it does something. Here we go, booted. So yes, that is working. Excellent. Excellent. Right, I'm going to put this machine together. Get a system running on it. Do some testing. Now the problem I've got the machine now is that the keyboard has a fault. Now every single button on the keyboard works apart from the power button. So I pulled the power button apart and given it a clean, that sort of stuff, but it's just nothing. It's not working. It will not boot the machine up. If I bridge pin 5 of the connector to ground, the machine will boot up. If I bridge the power pads over here, the machine will boot up. So it's purely the keyboard or this button itself or the flex or something there has gone wrong. I don't know exactly what, but anyway, it's not working. So I'm going to have to replace the keyboard. It's kind of annoying because that's the only button that doesn't work on it. Anyway, it's the way it goes sometimes, I suppose. See some liquid damage in there, coffee or something. So this sort of backlight. Cool. Okay, usually buy a keyboard you get in your backlight with it anyway, but you can see it's got the red indicator here, so it's got liquid damage, and you can see the liquid on it. So I'll probably just replace it, especially now I've ripped it here and I was getting it off. So I'll just replace it with a new keyboard as well when I put that in. And here's the keyboard section. Let's just close look at this. And as you can see, you've got these tiny little screws. Let's get one which is probably in focus. There you go, that one there. Tiny little screws, loads of them. Loads and loads of them. And I've got to take them all out. So I'm not going to bore you with that. So here is the button, flex, for the power button. Comes up here. There's a little break in it right there. You can just see a little crack in it. So that's where it's failed, is right there. Alright, keyboard's out. I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean up to try and get any residue off. There's a bit of kitchen towel, which is... Then what I'm going to do, because these liquid indicators have already been fired, I'm going to take them out. Because they're not serving a function anymore. And, you know, it's pretty pointless having them in there. And all we really do is show that it's had liquid damage in the past, and maybe I don't want to have that happen. I don't know. It's all fixed anyway. Liquid damage is all fixed, so it doesn't really matter. I'll clean all these off and I'll carry on. You don't need to see that, do you? So I've got the new keyboard here, and must have already used the backlight. This is from a reclaimed backlight, which I think must have been working, otherwise I wouldn't have kept it. So this one's also got a little bit of damage on it. You can see the indicator here. But I think it works. It's less liquid damage than the one I've just taken out, which was working anyway. So, although it's got a tear in it now, it won't affect it. So I'm going to put that one in because I think it's better condition. And I think I'll screw this down before I attach this switch here. I'll get it done to that. Little tip for you. Lots of screws. These are all the screws on the keyboard. Stick on a magnet, that way you can't lose them. Something this has, which I'll show you. Right here. See that pin, little post just there? There's a hole in the keyboard, and you've got this little post. You have to push this post through the keyboard to line it up properly. And there's a slotted post over here. So you make sure those both go through, then you can start putting the screws in. Alright, you can see I've started getting it back together now. I've got the membrane on here for the backlight, that used one which I already had. I put the bracket on here. Hopefully this membrane actually works. It's not too hard to get the membrane part out. It's a bit of work, but it's not too bad. Alright, so it's got a couple of screws that goes in there, or 3 screws. And I'll put this bracket on here and reassemble this section and go backwards and then put the logic board back in. So there's not much left to go to get it back together at least. So I'll start with the closest one. These are probably one of the most fiddly bits to get done. Be careful not to misalign them. And what I'll do with this is actually it's got this little bit of padding there, so I actually slide it back a bit and then I'm going to slide it in rather than trying to force it through. Run it down, should just line up pretty much. There we go, it's all done. So that's all that part in. I'll put the LVDS in after I've done anything else, because that's the most fragile connector of the lot. Well, it's one you really don't want to break, put it that way. So now I'll put these little covers back over these. I'm getting right around as well, it's always helpful. Goes that way around. And I really hope it works. We'll find out in a few minutes. Okay, that is everything back together. Let's plug in a battery. Oh, no, not plugging the battery. Got to plug in LVDS. Definitely never plug that in with the battery plugged in. It's so easy to short this out and blow stuff up. So always make sure your battery is unplugged before you mess with your LVDS connector. This is one which I actually managed to rescue. It did actually have some corrosion on it. I cleaned it all up, so I think it's okay, but I'm still a bit mindful of it being slightly damaged. Let's plug battery in now. And let's push a button and see what happens. Power button. Yep, it's trying to start. Excellent. So as expected, yep, it's just the keyboard. Push it again. Takes a couple of goes sometimes when it's been off. And there we go. Booting. Plug the charger on. Here's the screen. Where's the screen? Uh-oh. Oh, something else gone wrong. That's that connector I was worried about. See, that's why I was worried about this LVDS connector. They are very fragile, and there's a bit of crap in it again. Where's it come from? Look, this little bloody lever's coming off. Wasn't doing much anyway, let's take it off. Hopefully don't go from having a working screen to a non-working screen, because that'd be kind of inconvenient. And I forgot to unplug the battery, didn't I? Didn't follow my own advice. Unplug the battery, you bastard. Idiot. Right. Okay. It's very easy to short the connector accidentally. You can get away with it, but it's best not to tempt fate. Let's do it this way. Could be the graphics driver thing too. Also something else it could be. There we go, screen's back. Whew. Okay, plug the battery back in. So we're in business. So that computer's basically fixed now. Yep, it's working fine. Excellent. I think we're on a winner. Yeah, all good. I'm happy with that. Thanks for watching. If you want to share this video to your friends or social media, whatever, please do. Subscribe. Click the bell icon if you're not already subscribed. If you want to see more videos like this or any of my other electronic repair videos. And stick your comments down below as well. Have a chat down there and give me your feedback and your opinions and questions, advice even. You know, chuck stuff down there. I want to hear what you have to say. Catch you later.